Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to be doing something quite a bit different from my usual stuff. Usually I just play video games and ramble over them, not really knowing what I'm saying. But today I'm going to draw something and ramble over it and not really know what I'm saying. So it's time to test my horrible memory by drawing Pokemon from memory. I have my list of 801 Pokemon from the Pokemon Wiki that doesn't have any pictures, so I haven't seen any of those recently. And a random number generator that will tell me which Pokemon I'm going to be drawing. I might get a friend on sometime later to do this part for me, but for now, this is what's going to work. So let's get it started. Let's get started and generate a number. 324, which is Torkoal. All right, so here's some history to get started. My history of Pokemon anyways. I played most generations of the game. I think I skipped the remakes and Black and White 2, but I started with Pokemon Blue in 1998. It was a few years after the game came out. I think just before Yellow actually came out, which my brother ended up buying. It was about the same time the anime released in the US. And I bought it right before we went on a long road trip, and I had to borrow my friend's Game Boy for whatever reason, I don't really remember. And the first Pokemon I picked was Squirtle, of course, because Pokemon Blue, he was on the cartridge, so he had to be the strongest Mon in the game, right? I think I might have, what did I say, strongest Mon? Or I don't even know. As a kid, I watched the anime a little bit, just before Battle Frontier, basically through Gold and Silver, which I think Gold and Silver was probably my favorite generation, because you could go back and play through the original game too, on Black and White, on Silver and Gold after you beat it, but I played watched just before the Battle Frontier, so I never really found out what happened to the GS Ball, so I thought that was actually a thing that continued. And then as an adult, I've watched everything except for the Black and White series, and believe me, I tried to watch that series, but I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. And I was so disappointed that nothing ever happened to the GS Ball. And my brother, whenever I asked him, he was like, oh yeah, Celebi was in there. And then I watched the Celebi movie to try to prove that. And apparently not actually in the canon that Celebi was in there. They just dropped it, which is super depressing. But Ash actually had a Torkoal in the anime. That's why I gave him tears earlier. Because his Torkoal was always crying for some reason. I couldn't get it to be quite the tears that he was doing. And I keep running out of space here. I'll get spacing eventually, hopefully, maybe. Who knows? Surprisingly, I've actually never tried to draw Pokemon before. Actually, most of the stuff that I practiced was hands and faces at different angles, so I really haven't had much practice on things outside of that, I've realized recently. But faces and hands translate to everything, right? I think I've only drawn like 3 animals, like a bear, a manticore, which I guess isn't really an animal, but uses animal parts, and a crow. That's all I've ever drawn for animals. And going back to the anime, which is, something I like to do, is never stay on the same topic and have beautiful transitions. I basically, the only time I would really watch it is whenever they were having a battle. Most of the time it was just background noise while I was playing something like RimWorld or drawing something. And I remember begging my parents to take me to see the first Mewtwo movie in theaters, just so I could get the holographic Mewtwo card for the movie. Quite a few of my friends played the actual card game, or actually played the card game. Yeah, that's what I must say. I think it was because it was cheaper to buy the buy the cards instead of buying the Game Boy and the game. So a lot of my friends didn't play the game. They watched the anime though, and they played the card game, so we would play that at recess. It was also sort of, I guess, illegal to have your Game Boy at school. You would get it taken away even if you had it on your person. And sadly, I don't have any of those cards anymore. They probably would have been worth quite a bit, because I kept them in little plastic packages in a notebook, or in one of those like laminated page notebook things. So I basically never touched them with my hands. But sadly, I got rid of those when I was about 13 or so. My parents had a garage sale, and they said, you guys have to get rid of all the things that you don't use, because you have too many things, which was probably true. Speaking of the anime again, I'm so dumb. I remember one of my friends in elementary school used to have a van. His parents had a van that had a TV in it that had an antenna that could pick up, I think it was channel 33 that had Pokemon in it, Kids WB. It might have been a different channel and then switched to Kids WB. I'm not really sure. But we got out of school right at 3 o'clock, which is when Pokemon would start playing. Or maybe it was like 2:50, something like that. I don't know. Anyways, his parents would be outside, so he would just run to his van, get in his car, and start watching Pokemon all the way home. And I would always miss Pokemon on weekdays, because I would get out at 3 and then get home about 3:30. So I would have to catch it on, I guess, Saturdays. Because I think, I don't know, did they start playing new episodes on Saturdays originally? I can't even remember now. Anyways, let's get back to this Torkoal. He's definitely got hexagons on his body, right? And he is exactly a turtle. I don't know. Turtle, tortoise? Which one's the sea one? Turtle's the sea one, tortoise is the land one, right? Because the Galapagos turtle. Galapagos tortoise? I cannot remember. And then he's always got blowing smoke out of his back. I guess whenever he's more intense and not crying. But he's going to have smoke coming out of his back anyways. Alright, let's see how I did. I mean, it's not that bad. He's got hexagons, not octagons. He definitely has some older looking eyes or rounder looking eyes than my eyes were. And he's got all those stripes on his body that I forgot about. Oh well. Next one. Generate 697 Tyrantrum. Which one's Tyrantrum? Is it the green ground guy or the T-Rex? I honestly can't remember which one it is. I know one of them is Tyrantrum and one of them is Tyranitar, but both of them sound like they could be dinosaur names to me. I guess I'm gonna go with the T-Rex. I think it's Larvitar, Pupitar, and Tyranitar that are the green guy's evolutions. Is that one a dragon? A dark type? Ground something? I don't know. I can't remember. Alright, something about Tyrantrum, since he is the T-Rex guy, is that he has a giant mouth, and he has a lot more teeth than any of the other Pokemon do. I remember that much. Most of them have 2 to 4 teeth showing up in their mouth when it's open, but not this guy. This guy is just full of them. I don't know. Something that's pretty crazy about your memory is how it alters stuff over time. Like, memory is extremely fallible. Fallible? Is that the right word? I think it's the right word. And things people say to you can even affect your memory. I think one of the classic examples is a study where researchers had people watch a video of a car wreck and then asked one group of the participants how fast were the cars traveling whenever they collided, whenever they hit each other. I don't remember the exact wording. And then the second group, they asked how fast were the cars traveling when the cars smashed into each other. So the second group that had the smashed emphasized in the more, I guess, provocative word. I don't know, provocative, is that the word? I don't know. They all said that the car was traveling faster. I can't remember how much faster, but I know it was statistically significant because otherwise the study wouldn't have really been important or taught in school. I don't really know. And something else, I, in fact, have several memories that I don't think I actually remember, but I think I was just told about them. So I feel like I remember them, or they're in my head, and I can sort of put images to stories that people have told me, and I don't know, memories that I have that I definitely don't remember. One of them was whenever I was a kid, I remember splitting my head open on a radiator. I guess I was told I split my head open on a radiator. I think I was too young to remember at the time. But it's definitely a memory in my brain, if that makes sense. I don't know. But this guy definitely has a gigantic chin and some lips. I don't know, his mouth definitely wasn't as flat as I made it previously. And I feel like I'm not making his chin nearly large enough, but I never actually used either Torkoal or Tyrantrum in any of the games. I never really used any of the fossil Pokemon. I keep saying I don't really. I don't know why I never used any of the fossil Pokemon, but I never used any Pokemon that didn't have any evolutions, so that's why I didn't use Torkoal. Let me give him some upper lips too. Past his head, I don't really remember much. I think he was mostly a head, but they definitely had a body. Like, I guess every dinosaur has a body. I don't know, maybe not. I'm not a dino expert or anything. I do think they're pretty cool, though. How am I going to fit his tail on this screen? I think sometimes I speak too quickly, but I don't know. Maybe I don't, but sometimes whenever I'm watching other YouTube videos, I have to turn the speed to 2 times speed to actually keep track of what the person is saying because of how slowly they speak. I guess if I did slow down, I'd probably be less likely to stutter and say the wrong words. How do animal legs even work? This is a completely new area of drawing for me, so it's definitely an experiment. I can tell you for certain that his legs would not be able to hold up this massive body. At least not at the angle I've drawn it, but it's too late to start over now, I guess. I mean, is it too late? Yeah, it's too late. I think I draw a lot how I speak. I never finish one thing before going on to the next thing, and I often go back to things I thought I was done with, but actually just trailed off and never finished. This guy actually doesn't look like he's hunting anything, or even snarling. He actually looks pretty friendly, like he's waiting patiently for someone to plop a goat in his mouth. But if Pokemon were real, I don't think I would want to become a trainer, because most of the Pokemon are actually pretty terrifying, especially Tyrantrum. He's just a T-Rex. And that pink bear from Sun and Moon that hugs its trainers to death. I mean, there are probably some Pokemon that would be nice to have, like Miltank and Sunflora, any of them that are basically just domesticated dogs. That specific ones in the Pokedex that actually say they can understand human speak. I mean, I guess I wouldn't really want one of those guys imprisoned in a Pokeball, but it would have it would be nice to have one of those in the wild as a friend, I guess. How do not human arms work? I mean, I guess I'm not even good at drawing those on humans, but how do you draw claws either? Also, they're just like finger teeth, right? That's a dumb finger teeth. I feel like it shouldn't be this hard. Maybe it's because I'm drawing it on a weird angle, or because I'm just bad. Oh man, both of these hands look completely different, but oh well, I guess it's fine. I think it's because I decided to draw the claw integrated into the finger instead of separate like I did with the other one, or drawing it after like I did with the other one. But you know what? It would be kind of funny if I got the Pokemon mixed up and the Tyrantrum is also actually the green one and not the T-Rex. I guess these would be toe teeth. It was a dumb joke the first time, but I decided to do it again. And comedy usually comes in threes. I can't seem to draw this back foot for the life of me. Drawing from memory is actually quite a bit more difficult than I thought it would be. And drawing without some sort of reference is actually quite a bit more difficult than I thought it would be, especially since this is something I've never drawn. And drawing and talking is hard. Humans can't multitask, so having to switch back and forth makes both tasks take a lot longer and have less quality. Let's go ahead and shrinky-dink his body down so his head will be more prominent without losing too much space. Shrinky-dink is a word I've been saying a lot lately. I hate that word. I don't know why I keep saying it. And I still can't draw his back foot. I'm gonna do a little digital art trick for people who can't draw things looking the same. You just copy one and paste it. He definitely has some sort of texture on his body, right? I'm sure it's just spots and not something like scales or something better, fur, feathers, I don't know. He probably has a white belly thing, because things in nature tend to have lighter colored bellies than they do backs to camouflage them with the sky or something. I don't know, I guess that's why fish's bellies are lighter. And his legs are so wrong. I do not like them at all. I don't even know how to fix them, really. I think I went into this thinking, I'm gonna draw a good dinosaur, but this is not that. This is not that at all. Something is also really wrong with this arm, but his arms don't really have a whole lot of motion, so I don't know what other position I can make it and have it dynamic. So I'm just gonna hide it, tuck it here behind his jaw. I was told to never hide hands, but I'm gonna do it anyway. And maybe his chin isn't bigger. Maybe there's something on it. Does he have teeth on his chin? Maybe he has teeth on his chin too. Chin teeth. Yeah. Maybe he... Yeah, he for sure has some sort of beard going on. But how many little ruffles on his beard? I don't know. You know, he probably uses this to eat, to mash it up on the ground. Maybe he really is a friendly T-Rex, and He mashes up the ground on the food for Pokemon who have lost their teeth, so that they can just go ahead and slurp it up right off the ground, and they would rather it be smashed by his beard because they don't want things that have been in another Pokemon's mouth. Alright, I really have to stop drawing this monster. Nothing I can do will make this either look more like a Tyrantrum or an actual dinosaur. But let me pull up a picture of this guy and see how I actually did. Well, it doesn't look like a Pokemon, and it's not good. The one that's actually Tyrantrum makes a lot more sense than mine does. Also, what are the chances that I would get two Pokemon that start with T and have hexagons on their bodies? I don't know, that's pretty surprising to me. By doing this, I've realized Pokemon have a lot more details on them than I think, and their eyes are weird. I don't have the same kind of... I don't think they have the same kind of eyes for any Pokemon, but I could be wrong. There could be some that have similar eyes. Anyway, I'll try to do better next time. If you have something you'd like me to draw poorly, let me know in the comments below. I'm gonna do another one of these pretty soon. Hopefully it'll be more entertaining. But as usual, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.